All right, friends. I just this thing kind of popped up on my radar here. It's the Natural Hypertrophy, man. I hate this channel, man. This guy's shit. Just pure shit. But anyways, I just kind of found this interesting, and let's just listen to what he has to say here. It's kind of bullshit, but whatever.
Positive, and that is crazy, right? Because you would think that the time you spend lifting the weight and the speed at which you lift the weight would have a bigger impact than that. Now, naturally, when I heard this, my first instinct was to think, okay, if the study didn't actually standardize the load, then it's...
If the study didn't standardize the load get in there, you get like me. You get some fake masses, and you beat the masses, and then you beat the body. This guy, man, is just too much. Wow.
It's bogus because it's perfectly logical that if you take two individuals and they both lift 50 pounds, the one that lifts 50 pounds slower is going to get more muscle. The question is,
What? The one that lifts 50 pounds slower is going to get more muscle? Wow. So weights build a muscle, eh, bro? On a breatharian diet. Okay. Air builds a muscle. Weights, metal builds a muscle. If you go slow, you build a muscle. Well, I just don't understand this crazy. This fucking guy is so shit. Weights do not build muscles. They break proteins down. They break proteins down in the gym. You're breaking proteins down. Proteins are being built up, broken down all day long. But if you go work out, you're going to be breaking them down now. And he's telling you you'll get more muscle. How do you get more muscle if protein is broken down now in the gym? How does it build more muscle just lifting that weight? Can he prove what he says? He's making this stuff up. Prove to us that moving a weight slowly is going to magically build a muscle out of thin air.
You gain more muscle if the guy who lifts faster than you also lifts more weight, right? That is the question.
He do gain muscle too, yeah? Oh, from just the weights gain muscles.
And because I couldn't really find the information in the study, I reached out to a person that participated, that person being...
The person that participated? What did they participate in? If you're building any muscle in a gym, it's going to be sarcoplasmic muscle. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. If somebody says you're building muscle in a gym, you're building sarcoplasmic muscle, artificial muscle growth. You aren't building no real muscle in a gym. Myofibrillar growth does not happen lifting a weight. Slow, fast, up and down, whatever, sideways. That just doesn't work like that, man. This is ridiculous.
Milo Wolf. And I asked him, hey, do you know if they modified the load based on the tempo?
That's why this guy has no muscles. He has no muscles. He has nothing. He has nothing. He's got some pictures because he has low body fat. So what? Man, if you saw him in person, he has no muscles. You can see even here in this video, he's got nothing. There's nothing there. It's a flat chest. That's about it. Low body fat because you can see some lines on his abs. He's an ectomorph. A very skinny ectomorph at that. He's even admitted to it.
And he confirmed that apparently that is standard practice. That is standard...
Oh, sorry about that. I don't know how that happened. Shit. Where did that go, man? What is this? Larry Wheels. Where did that stupid video go?
They modified the load based on the tempo, and he confirmed that apparently that is standard practice, that is standard methodology. They actually thought about it beforehand, which thank God they did, because if they didn't, the study would be...
Standard methodologically, whatever the fuck this guy is mumbling about.
For nothing. So, that's crazy. This means that you could potentially reduce the load that you lift by 30%, and as long as you heighten the tempo and you lift slower, the results that you'll gain in terms of hypertrophy, not strength, seem to be the same. And what
hypertrophy but not strength? What are you talking about? Yeah, hypertrophy. Okay, so sarcoplasmic, not chemical strength. Okay, I understand now what he's trying to say. So if you lift slowly, you're able to get, for every gram of glycogen, 3 grams of water are drawn between the skin and muscle into the muscle. So if you do it slowly, you'll be able to draw more of this glycogen. So creating these artificial muscles through hypertrophy. And so that's why he equates hypertrophy as not being strength. He equates adaptations in myocytic androgen receptors as strength, the chemical strength. Now I understand. So artificial strength, chemical artificial strength, and artificial muscle sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. Now I understand. Okay, I was confused before. That's why I say these fake natties, these so-called natties are all fake natties.
Gets even more surprising is that apparently they tried multiple valuable combos of tempo and they all gave the same results. So they tried 3 second positive, 3 second negative, 2 second positive, 1 second negative. And as long as you're within that ballpark of 2 second to 8 second, all the results seem to be the same. So in a nutshell, as long as you are controlling the eccentric for at least 1 second, and you're not just letting gravity do the work for you, you're good. You are within what we can consider to be optimal territory for hypertrophy, which is a good news because this means that you can now let tempo be dictated by preference and not stress out too much by telling yourself, oh, I have to count in my head 1, 2, 3, or else it's all for nothing. No, you're good. Now, I would actually...
What? I have no clue what the fuck he was talking about there, man. This guy's just making up shit.
Encourage you to go check out the study for yourself because it's actually very short and very easy to understand.
Yeah.
One thing that...
Yeah, there's a study. Go read it. Yeah, okay. Uh-huh.
Is a bit confusing is that some studies even go as far as to say that a person lifting less weight for more time experiences greater hypertrophy than someone lifting more weight for less.
Okay. Hypertrophy has more than one meaning. Hypertrophy means something's getting bigger. If you get water in your muscles, will they hypertrophy? Yeah. If you get more muscle cells, will they hypertrophy? Yeah. If you get mass on the myofibrillar, will it hypertrophy? Yeah. If the sarcoplasm increases in size, will that hypertrophy? Yeah. If you get lactic acid, will it hypertrophy? Yeah. If you get an inflammatory response, will it hypertrophy? Yeah. Well, if you get these chemicals and things, if you do blood flow restriction, will it hypertrophy? Yeah. So he never mentions what type of hypertrophy this is, but I already understand what this hypertrophy is. According to this study, it's sarcoplasmic. He doesn't understand the study because he's too stupid. It must be his French accent. He went to his fucking brain, man. And fucking French people, they're so fucking dumb. Fuck me.
This time, I'm not super convinced about that. I think we need more.
I love this one. The gravitational sources. Increases in hypertrophy can occur with repetition durations. Yeah, because you're an endurance athlete. And if you're an endurance athlete, what type of hypertrophy is this? ATP. What's ATP? An energy source, adenosine tryptophosphate. It's a energy source in the form of sarcoplasmic. It's glycogen loading. So yeah, it's kind of obvious what they're trying to tell, what they're saying here. So that's why he equates hypertrophy with no strength. See, all these guys, they equate when you get hypertrophy, sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, there's no strength because there is no strength. If you hypertrophy sarcoplasmic, there is no muscle strength. But if you hypertrophy myofibrillar, you get strength. That's why eccentric contractions are more superior. When I read it according to the DOMs in the pain section there in Satellite Cell, it tells you it's superior in every way because muscle damage is superior. Muscle damage is more superior than sarcoplasmic hypertrophy training. Is much more superior because it's associated with strength, power, speed, and performance, bigger, better, stronger, and faster. It makes you super fucking strong. Physiological strength goes up and everything.
Formation, but essentially if this comes out to be true, it means that the bros were right all along and that time under tension seems to be much more important than the weight that you lift. So as we've
pretty much anything will get this sarcoplasmic hypertrophy growing. Again, for every gram of glycogen, 3 grams of water are drawn between the skin and the muscle into the muscle. So he says that this guy who does it slow, this guy who does it whatever, is going to have more muscle than the other guy who didn't do it slow. Well, I don't know. Is he eating the same amount of glycogen as he is in the form of complex carbohydrates? I can't tell you, man. Who the hell knows? Maybe the guy who did it slow ate more glycogen. That's why he got more of this shit in his muscle, this fake fucking hypertrophy, bro. Come on, man.
a million times before, it's not about how much weight is on the bar, it's about how the weight feels as you lift it. But I think that we need to be a bit
Yes, it's how it feels, not how you lift it. Yes, okay.
careful with this finding, because I don't want this to become the reason why you go out and start just slashing your loads and you start using baby weights with 6-second negatives.
I gotta tell you something. This guy's so stupid. Man, this guy's so stupid. I don't know anything about these phony studies that he's using or fake studies. He didn't even reference what this study fucking was, but I never saw the top of it or anything. I don't know where it's from, what it's all about. I'm pretty sure it's that hypertrophy. Again, that hypertrophy, what he's talking about is sarcoplasmic, because these people are all in their own la land, man, fake land.
Because even though the study shows that apparently there's nothing wrong with that in terms of growth, there are a ton of additional factors that might make...
I've done videos explaining already there's more than one hypertrophy, okay? And I used real science and real reports and everything explaining there's more than one type of hypertrophy. Okay, man? Yeah. There's even a temporary type of transient, they call it transient hypertrophy. That is the pump, when you get the pump. Yeah. But that glycogen, that sarcoplasmic, oh, no. That's not just temporary. That's not just temporary. It's artificial, but it's not just temporary, the pump.
So that this method...
I mean, even inflammation is temporary. Inflammatory response hypertrophy is temporary.
Will still, down the line, be subpar for hypertrophy. So, for example, the longer your negative is, the harder it becomes to standardize, because now you have to keep track of each negative and you have to make sure that they're all the same for every single rep. And if there's something that we know and that the study shows as well, is that standardizing the range of motion and the tempo is super important. It is actually even more important than the tempo or range of motion itself, because if it's too fluctuant, if it changes too much, it's going to sabotage your ability to progressively overload. And since we know that any variation
To overload? What are you overloading?
of tempo speed is going to greatly impact how much weight you can use. So there might be a differential of 20 pounds between a 2-second negative and a 6-second negative. You absolutely have to make sure that the tempo stays the same for every single rep. And that's not an easy task. Keeping track of tempo in between sets, different sets, is already hard enough. But within the same set itself, in between reps, once you start getting tired, you're going to have a tendency to start to speed up the tempo because you want to get done with the set, you want to get momentum so that you can get the weight up.
La. This guy is not even an athlete, man. Does he play any fucking sports or do anything at all with all this stupid, gotta lift this tempo, gotta lift this weight, gotta get this...
At the end of the day,
muscle.
the consistency is something
Gotta
that
get free
really hits
muscles.
people.
Like, I have no clue what the fuck he's talking about, man, in this goddamn video. Sorry about that. I have no clue, man. This is just bullshit. More bullshit TV.
That is standard methodology. They actually thought about it beforehand, which thank God they did, because if they didn't, the study would be for nothing. So that's crazy. This means that you could potentially reduce the load that you lift by 30%, and as long as you heightened the tempo and you lift...
Where was I? I think I lost the space.
Injury risk, but they still get the same tension on the muscle, which is great news, because even if...
Man, I already lost the thing because this is just shit. Fuck it. I keep losing the spot.
You're not a pro bodybuilder or you're not super lean yourself, like myself, I'm not lean at all.
Oh, yeah. I'm not lean at all. Yeah, you're just an ectomorph. You're just a fucking anorexic ectomorph, man. Yeah, sure.
You are going to be able to make use of that if you ever get injured. We've all been injured. It's a bitch because you can't lift as heavy.
We've all been injured. I haven't been injured in the gym ever. I know what you're talking about.
Well, this study shows that actually you could still be doing the movement pattern with less weight and a slower tempo, get no pain, don't risk any reoccurring injury, and your muscle gains might be similar. This is mind-blowing. So for all of my bros out there who are afraid of shrinking back to the size of a shrimp because they got hurt, no worries. Apparently,
you shrink back to a size of a shrimp because you got hurt. You shrunk because your muscles are sarcoplasmic. They're glycogen. Glycogen is not muscles, bro. Yeah, man. You understand?
You are covered by this technique. But talking about technique, that is the big question mark that this study leaves relatively untouched, because I don't think they had enough time to cover that topic because it's so broad.
Yeah.
But if we look at the trinity, or the four factors that are the most important when it comes to actually building muscle,
what's so important? Yes, building muscles, yes.
we might have load, range of motion, tempo, and then you have technique. Technique is the way you actually...
I'm going to explain to you how myofibrillar growth is built. It's easy. You damage it, and then you go eat and repair and remodel it for over a week period. Now, this whole doing all these weird things to build the sarcoplasmic muscles, anything could build sarcoplasmic as long as you wave your arms around, elastics, weight, whatever, providing that glycogen synthesis exceeds that breakdown, then you will load more of those glycogen muscles in there funnier than the last time.
Approach the pattern, the way the body moves through space. And so I would even argue that in terms of hypertrophy, technique might actually be the most important factor, even more important than range of motion. And if you want a quick...
Technique is more important than range of motion. The range of motion is technique, and the technique is important than the range of motion. Just go fucking damage those motherfucking muscles and go eat down at the fucking local buffet, you motherfucker. All right? And grow those motherfucking muscles. Stop fucking yapping like a bitch all over the fucking internet.
Hierarchy, I guess. I would say that you have technique number 1, then range of motion number 2, tempo number 3, and then you have time under tension that ranks up as number 4 because it's just a byproduct of tempo. And then you have the overarching concept of load that I can't really rank. I would rank it as 0.
Yeah. What is this garbage?
Actually very interested in this upcoming study. So if you guys are interested, let me know in the comments. I will be. It is now time to move. So influencer claims that their advice and their method is optimal for muscle building, whether they have studies to back it up or not. And that is not surprising. It's, if you're familiar with it, a form of prisoner dilemma. It's essentially a choice where you have a group of individuals, and if all of the individuals agree to play the game by the same rule, you to not fall for what is essentially a marketing strategy. And I think that it is very important. In danger, black people are being attacked, etc., etc. I'm not arguing.
Whatever, man. I don't know what the fuck this guy's mumbling about. This is just a lot of shit. What did he talk about in the beginning? Let's see this.
Hello YouTube. First thing first, long time no see. I've had some things going on in my life that prevented me from making videos, but I'm now back and operational. So if you have been waiting all this time, thank you for your patience.
I don't want to know, man.
The third is that it seems that performing exercises with greater range of motion, so what we would call full range of motion, tends to lead to greater hypertrophy. I don't think that anyone...
Greater range of motion leads to greater hypertrophy. He's talking about hypertrophy, but he's not talking about muscle damage. Hypertrophy, again, has many meanings, or whatever.
Is surprised by this. We have known that for a very long time. However, while the paper brings us something new, is that by gathering and comparing a ton of studies that relate to range of motion, Jeff managed to unveil a very interesting fact, and that is that a partial range of motion might actually be more optimal for hypertrophy than a full range of motion. And that is quite surprising, although it is something that is coming out more.
None of this is regenerative. It's garbage.
And more nowadays with the concept of the lengthened partial. So the idea is that if you cut the range of motion and you only keep the end of it while the muscle is lengthened, this seems to produce greater muscle growth in comparison with a range of motion where you go all the way down and all the way up, while the muscle lengthens all the way and shortens all the way. And that might be best explained by the fact that since you're not doing the full movement, you can use more weight and you can also get more reps. So now you're targeting the part of...
There's more disruption there, yeah. But this is what he's talking about, sarcoplasmic, man. I don't know. This is just baloney, whatever.
The range of motion while the muscle... It is now time to move on with the second, simply because it's pretty much that. It's 90% of what we know works. All of these studies that come out, all of this optimal training really concerns itself with the remaining 10%. What it does best is actually confirm that the 90% work. So it's telling us that what we've been doing is actually the right way to train. So please don't get swept.
You want to know how to train? Go down to the buffet and just eat as much as you can. Train as hard as you can down there, and I guarantee those muscles are going to grow, and you're going to be the biggest guy in the gym, and everybody's going to accuse you of being on steroids. Because you went down to your local buffet and ate there every day for over 6 hours. Yeah, man. Okay. Anyways, I got to go. This is torture watching this guy. I'll see you in the next one. Hi. Didn't understand anything of this video. Is garbage. See you in the next one. Ciao. Gets boring watching this.